The Republic of Indonesia is located between the continents of Asia and Australia. It comprises 16,056 islands with 34 provinces spread over 5 main islands and 4 archipelagos. The 5 main islands include Sumatra, Java, Kalimantan, Sulawesi, and Papua. The 4 archipelagos are Riau, Bangka Belitung, Nusa Tenggara, and Maluku. Monaco is a small city-state in southwestern Europe on the Mediterranean Sea's northern central coast. Monaco is bordered by France. The government system is a constitutional monarchy. The chief of state is the prince, and the head of government is the minister of state. As one of the smallest independent states in the world, almost the entire country is urban. Monaco has a service-based market economy in which the prices of goods and services are determined by a free market system. Indonesia and Monaco are countries that have similar flags. Today, we will present a comparison between the two countries. Check it out. First, consider the cost of living for a single person. The cost of living for one person in Indonesia averages $564, while the cost of living in Monaco is $3,585. Thus, the cost of living in Indonesia is only 15.73% of the cost of living in Monaco. If you are married, the average cost of living in Indonesia is $1,422, and in Monaco it is $8,352. So it can be seen that the cost of living in Indonesia is only 17.02% of the cost of living in Monaco for people who are already married. Second, residential rental prices. In managing the income budget, the cost of renting a residence usually takes up a fairly large portion. This is especially true if you live in a big city and want to be closer to your office, campus, or place of business. The average cost to rent a residence in Indonesia is $260. While the price of renting a place to live in Monaco is $2,652. Thus, the price of renting a house in Indonesia is only 9.80% of the price of renting a house in Monaco. If you are married, the average cost of renting a house in Indonesia is $511, and in Monaco, it is $4,903. So it can be seen that the price of renting a house in Indonesia is only 10.42% of the price of renting a house in Monaco for people who are already married. Third, the amount of money spent to buy food usually. Food choices outside are often cited as a cause of additional monthly expenses, so that food needs are one of the biggest expenses in each month. The average expenditure on food in Indonesia is $207, while total expenses for eating in Monaco amounted to $675. Thus, the total spending on eating in Indonesia is only 30.66% of the total spending on eating in Monaco. The amount of spending on transportation. The average amount spent on transportation in Indonesia is $41.70, while the total expenditure for transportation in Monaco is $72.70. Thus, the total expenditure for transportation in Indonesia is only 57.01% of the total expenditure for transportation in Monaco. Fifth, the amount of monthly income after tax. The average monthly after-tax income in Indonesia is $564, while the total monthly income after tax in Monaco is $3,585. Thus, the total monthly income after tax in Monaco is much higher, at 1,758% of the total monthly income after tax in Indonesia. Sixth, life expectancy. Life expectancy is an estimate of the number of years of an individual's life living in an area with a particular group of living things. Life expectancy in Indonesia averages 71.9, while life expectancy in Monaco is 89.7. Thus, life expectancy in Indonesia is lower, which is equal to 79.83% of life expectancy in Monaco. Seven, Corruption Perception Index. The Corruption Perceptions Index is the result of a quantitative survey of stakeholders associated with a government agency. The index has a scale between 0, which means very corrupt, and 100, which means very clean. The Corruption Perception Index in Indonesia is 38, while the Corruption Perception Index in Monaco is 82. Thus, when measured by the Corruption Perception Index, government agencies in Monaco are cleaner than government agencies in Indonesia. Eighth, population. A population is a group of individuals with the same characteristics living in the same place. In other words, the population is the entire population that occupies an area. The population of Indonesia is 271 million people. The population of Monaco is 38,000 people. Thus, the population of Indonesia is much higher than that of Monaco, which is 7,131 times higher. From the 8 reviews above, it can be said that if you want a high income, then Monaco will be your first choice. Whereas if you want to live in a country where the cost of living is relatively cheap, then Indonesia will be your first choice. However, the level of satisfaction for each person is different. So, which country will you choose to live in?